Well, now I'd like to pass control of the meeting across to a good friend and an experienced Toastmaster. Please welcome Jo Evans for her session. Thank you, Jo.
Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome. So I love the quote, teamwork makes the dream work, and I hope you do too. And many people say that working in a team, success is more meaningful than being on our own because we get the encouragement, the support, and that makes the accomplishments even sweeter. So how true that is in a Toastmaster club and on the exec. And I want to just acknowledge that, interestingly, this module that I'm doing now was created by a team of 3 people. So there was Janine Wan and Annie Martin, who are both in the room as well. And we had such fun creating this module, which I really hope is useful to you today. First of all, thank you for making the decision to be part of your club's exec. And also thank you for being here at Club Officer Training, because not everybody, of course, does come to that. And then I also want to acknowledge there's loads of different experience, knowledge and passion for Toastmasters in this room. In fact, Bruce Hill, I think, was just telling me he's been a Toastie for 31 years and Rick 32 years, something around that, which is amazing. Toastmasters has to be amazing to have people staying here for so long. And I want to tap into that passion today so that when I ask you to type in the chat room, in the chat box, please do. And then we can all read each other's messages. And I will remind you again later, but just short things in the chat box so that we can all read each other's messages as quickly as possible. And if possible, might I suggest that you have a piece of paper and a pen nearby so that you can jot down any ideas that you think will be useful for you, your exec, and your club. And also our wonderful Graham, our Zoom master, will be sharing handouts and things as we go along. I also want to acknowledge that some of you are here from clubs which may be struggling, might not have huge numbers of people. And I know there are a few people in this room who are doing several roles in their club to keep the club going. So thank you for doing that. That is true commitment. And I hope suggestions that I'm saying today make you feel overwhelmed when you're thinking, oh, there's only 3 of us on the exec or whatever. This time is for all of us. So we have 30 minutes to explore and learn how our exec teams can function even better, so that our clubs enjoy success this year and into the future. So we're going to divide it into 3 sections. Firstly, talking about the characteristics of what makes a good exec. And I'm going to introduce you to what I think is a rather cool, catchy and clever leadership model. More of that in a moment. And this section will have more time allocated to it. And then secondly, we'll talk about strategies to help encourage people to stand for our new execs starting in July the 1st. And thirdly, we'll talk about some of the practicalities around running a successful club election in May. So I hope that sounds exciting, and thanks again for being here. So section 1, let's start by taking a moment. Get your fingers ready to type in. What would you say are 1 or 2 characteristics that make a strong exec? Type away so we can watch. So what would you say are 1 or 2 characteristics? Yay, thank you for Annie jumping in there, and everybody. Communication, good communication, motivated, engaging, teamwork, team spirit, easygoing, willing to help, respect, communication, people skills, understanding, good communication, respect, adaptable, having fun. Beautiful, beautiful. So thank you so much for having put those. So let me now introduce what I said before was this cool, catchy and clever leadership model. We've come up with one called the 3 C's: communication, which I'm seeing there absolutely millions of times, commitment, and when people are saying having fun, our word that we've used, a camaraderie. So let us look at communication first. Lots of you have mentioned it. It's crucial that our exec teams communicate well. We have to share information, we have to reach a consensus of opinions about all sorts of things. we will be communicating with each other in loads of different ways. So what I'm wondering is, could you just, again, fingers at the ready, type and say, what are some of the ways you and your exec communicate with each other at the moment? How do you communicate with each other? Yay. WhatsApp. So I'm looking email, SMS, WhatsApp. Oh, lots and lots of WhatsApp. Signal. That's a groovy club. Whoa, super cool. Face-to-face meetings, Facebook Messenger, email, phone. Brilliant. Brilliant. Thank you. So we're all using loads of different things. And I want to just add, and I know some clubs, sometimes their exec meetings get smaller or shorter or whatever. I just wanted to remind us all that when we're in a club exec meeting, which is such an important thing to have, knowing the dates in advance, we can practice our Toastmaster skills in them. Running the meeting on time, following a well-planned agenda, constructing our thoughts into logical and well-reasoned verbal expression, listening to others, not interrupting, respecting different opinions and understanding other points of view, and where a consensus is difficult to reach, and just taking time and communication to make sure that we all get on well. Weirdly, in the room, some of you were arriving, a few people were saying sometimes exec meetings can be a little hard work. So I want to remind us all to, we don't all have to be best friends, but we have to respect each other and know that we have a bigger, higher thing, which is to make our club work well. And so if we plan our meetings and really commit to each other, we can have good meetings. So here's a bigger question for you. I'm saying that our beautiful Graham is putting things in for us. In the light of the shared ideas and thinking about things, what could you do to improve communication in your exec? So I'm kind of focusing on you because you can't make other people do things. What's something that you could do to improve communication in your exec team? Broad question, my friends, broad question. Have a think. What's something you could do to improve communication? And I'm going to put hand on my heart to listen more. That would be mine. Someone else started off being available, listening, asking questions. And for other people, it's to Tony talk more. And what can you do to make your exec communicate even better? Committed, clear communication, asking questions, being approachable, conducting club events, not taking over, encouraging the new members on the exec, being supportive, having a good structure. Wow, these are all absolutely amazing. I think we just need to remind ourselves about these things and draw out the quiet ones. Thank you so much. Second one, the second C, commitment. So our second C is commitment. So we need to commit to Toastmasters as an organization, our current members, and to the future of the club. So although some people in this room have been in Toastmasters quite a while, none of them have been here for the just over 100 years, which Toastmasters has been going for. Thank you, Bruce, for smiling at my joke there. So it's in about 150 countries, and this model works amazingly. So we need to embrace and use the Toastmaster resources on the TI website. We've got club officer tools. There's so much there on the website. And I also wanted to remind you, just a little reminder, that you get many emails, I know, from Toastmasters International and District 73. Read them, have a look at them, take a moment, read and know what the latest developments are, what's the news. And of course, a reminder again to all of you for being here is a commitment to Toastmasters International. So tick for number one. Secondly, commitment to your current members. So think of yourself as exec members being the bridge between the Toastmaster International structures, which are above club level, and the members. to the club. So I'm not sure if you can remember, but you probably can. When you first came into Toastmasters, being a little overwhelmed by Toastmaster policies, jargon, but with you taking on the role of being a bit of a translator of Toastmasters International to new members, you can really help your club. For example, how does Pathway work? What contests are? Where does the club fit into District 73? And then our new members can hopefully soon feel comfortable and have a really good experience in your club. Now, I would like to take you down your memory lane. Can you take yourself back to when you first walked into a Toastmasters meeting? Perhaps pretty nervous. Are you there now? Have you taken yourself back? Who welcomed and supported you as a visitor? I mean, maybe it was more than one person, but can you remember who supported you? And if you can put their role, if you knew it, that would be gorgeous. So type in, oh, you're already going, the VPM, the VPE, the VP and the president. I love it. Some of you are putting the names of people. It's like a shout out. Mark Doherty, VPM, President Peter Stewart, the leaders, Sergeant at Arms, President. Yay. Everyone. Okay, and now, don't need to type this into chat. Just think about it, if that's okay. This is almost just a moment to take yourself back, a sense of appreciation and gratitude. When you started to think about becoming a member, who were the people who answered your questions? Who were the people that inspired you to join? And then once you were joined up, who helped you get going with your Toastmaster journey? I guess my questions are slightly leading you to hopefully be thinking, yes, the exec of the club at that time, of course, other people as well, but how important that beautiful exec were in your club, hopefully, that made you join. I mean, working behind the scenes, there was probably an organized VPM greeting you into a room that had been beautifully set up by the Sergeant at Arms. And the meeting was overseen by the VPE, and a professional and friendly president welcomed you. There was a treasurer who later organized your payment. Maybe you've been encouraged to come along by the VPPR, and not forgetting the secretary who's probably helping on one or many of those jobs. So this is what you are now giving back to the club. So at times, if it feels like it's hard work, remember you are that person, the inspiring person to future and your current members. Thirdly, as we just talk about this a little bit more, commitment to the future of the club. So as an exec, you need to be committed to looking after your club. Is it well set up for the future? Has it got an appropriate and affordable meeting place? Is it financially secure? So now I'd like you don't need to put this into the chat unless you've got time. Could you just think and jot down on your piece of paper, what's one thing that, again, you can do to improve commitment in your exec team? Or maybe what are you going to do to commit yourself more to the exec team? If you jot that down on your piece of paper, I can see about 4 people, Rick, Finley, Bruce, Paul and Wally. So if you're able to smile at me and put your thumb up when you jotted down a thought, I would much appreciate it. And then I can see some of you are also starting to put things into the chat. I'm wanting you to take away from this session, you being even more enthusiastic to your exec in your club. The third C, I'm not going to ask for what it is, but if you can remember it, I'm not actually even sure I said it at the beginning, camaraderie. Yes, I did say it. So we're all volunteers. So how do we attract people to be on the exec in the future? And how do we keep them there? Another idea we've had is to make members want to be part of the club exec by the exec fostering a sense of camaraderie, sharing and supporting each other. And hopefully your club members will see that you're enjoying your role, stepping in for each other, that we're all sharing resources, learning together. So my final question in this little bit is, how do you foster camaraderie in your exec team? And I'm going to broaden this out because I know some clubs are small. Or how do you foster camaraderie in your club? I'd love you to type that up. So how do you foster camaraderie within your exec team? Or if you're a small club, perhaps your focus is more on the whole club. So how do you foster things? Okay, thank you. Helping each other. Dinners. Oh, there's a few dinners going on there. Okay, what else do you do to foster that kind of friendship and support and camaraderie? Welcoming meetings, themes, supporting each other, attending events outside of Toastmasters, being more inclusive, safe and supportive space, chatting over supper, cake and coffee after the meeting. Food is a nice thing. Love it. If someone is struggling, taking the pressure off and helping, that's another kind of camaraderie, isn't it? Really supporting and helping each other, setting out goals. So we want to have fun on our exec teams, checking in on other members. All these are such good reminders of the things we need to do. In conclusion, for this little section, I encourage you to use the 3 C's of communication, commitment, and camaraderie to create a strong leadership team at your club. So when a club exec communicates regularly and respectfully, committed to sharing goals and enjoying camaraderie as they do, they will no doubt be kicking goals for their club, their members, and for the Toastmasters brand. So that's the end of the little section thinking about us as execs. So now I'd like to move into thinking about how do we identify and encourage future leaders? And why am I asking that question? Well, because July the 1st, a new exec will take over. Now, it's very likely that many of us in the room will still be on our exec, maybe in a different role, we're still involved, but we also want to bring on new members into the club. And that's something that people often are saying, oh, that's difficult. How do we get new members? How do we encourage members to take on leadership roles? So might you please, in Zoom, share some of your ideas in brief so it's easy to read. How do you encourage members to take on leadership roles at your club? Please share your thoughts and ideas. Ask them. Tell them why they're being asked. Actually, I'm not going to speak now. Type your answer in and then just have a look at all the other ideas. So many lovely ideas. All right, thank you, everybody. So let's just summarize. We, in our little team, came up with some ideas. There is one there that if we have time at the end, can I give you a heads up, Stephanie Ritchie? If you were happy to share your idea at the end, I'd love to, because she wrote something very alternative there. So Graham, are you able to share our ideas of 7 ways to find future leaders? Oh, there's so many good ones there. So we kind of came up with them, which we hope encapsulate most of what we said, but there's some great ways that people have expressed them. So brainstorming candidates in an exec meeting, giving educational speeches about roles, all of these as soon as we can, just getting people thinking about it. Current exec giving inspirational speeches. promoting the benefits of being one of the leadership team for your resume, referring people to the Toastmasters Promise, which we'll come to in a moment, encouraging, inviting members to nominate themselves. And in some clubs, they even have a little leadership committee group who kind of take extra responsibility for this. But the key thing is plant seeds early. Now is a good time to start saying to people, because sometimes it takes a while for people to take it on. All right, thank you, Graham. Are you able to show us the, thank you. All right, no, this is the Toastmasters Promise. Yeah, all these different parts of it. Now I know in some clubs, this is a big thing when someone joins the club, they go through the promise. In other clubs, it's more, it's, you know, not talked about so much. But in the middle there is a line which we've highlighted, which is to serve my club as an officer when called upon to do so. So the more in advance we can encourage people when they join to say, not expecting you to jump in necessarily straight away as an officer, but we would love you to do that. So it's not something that they see as for the future. It's maybe something that they can take on board after a few months. So that is something in our Toastmasters Promise that we all signed when we became Toastmasters. Right. Would you just take a moment on your piece of paper, jot down any of the ideas that you can scroll and see there, any thoughts that you think will work well, or any actions that you think you need to be taking to help get people to stand on the next exec. So jot down, there's some great ones there. Thank you. And now the final section that I'm doing is about running successful club elections. So let's imagine we've got all these people who are super, super keen to stand on the exec, and now we have our club elections, okay? So all clubs run their club elections a little differently, but what we have done is got together a bit of a script which we have made sure covers all the things we need to cover. And if you don't have a club election script, this is here. And I know that towards the end of this session, unless Graham's already done it, but I'm not sure, Graham will put in to the chat box a few resources that we're talking about. So here is the club officer election script, if you would like to use this one. So you will see that there's the bit, welcome members and guests. The purpose of this business session is to elect a new executive to act on your behalf from the 1st of July until the 30th of June next year. Serving as an officer on our club is an honor and is part of our Toastmasters Promise, reinforcing what I said before. So as you scroll down, thanks Graham, there's the stuff about quorum, what to do, you know, hopefully you've got 50% plus one members, about how you do the voting, about asking for nominations, also if someone has to do a little mini speech. Obviously, I'm not going to read through this, but you can just read through this and be really clear about how to do an election. So if we just scroll down to the bottom, we've added on the little reminder right at the very bottom that makes sure that once you've had the elections and you have your new executive, that your club officer list is updated on Club Central with the newly elected officers for the coming year. So Toastmaster International knows who they are. So they get emails get sent directly, and this goes towards your distinguished club points. So I'll just have a quick look. This a little screenshot I made. So when you go to Club Central on Toastmasters International, whoever goes to do it, in theory, it is the responsibility of the secretary, but I think you need to make sure, definitely all reminding each other who's doing it. So you go to Leadership Central, then choose Club Central, the first red box, and then you scroll down and you choose Club Officer Assignment. And then you scroll down to the bottom and will be, and I'm not sure when it happens, 2 tabs. The one there now is saying the current one, and then there will be the future one, which I think will pop up in about a month's time. So you will be choosing the tab to the right and saying, these are the new exec, and typing them in. You need to remember to do that before the 30th of June, before it clicks over to July the 1st. And the other thing to remind you all is about having your club elections. So ideally, the first meeting of May. So could you all just look at that calendar now and think, when is your club's first meeting in May? And jot that down on your piece of paper. So for example, at Parkville, we meet 2nd and 4th Wednesdays. So I know that on the 14th, we will be having our club election. So get that, put it into your system, book it up, and then work towards that date so you know it's going to happen. Thank you, Graham. So Graham will be putting into the chat box all the different sheets of paper that have been put up on the screen. And I think that's what I wanted to cover. And I'm wondering, I've just jotted down, Stephanie Ritchie, I have no idea who you are or where you are, but any chance you might put up your hand and share your extremely fun sounding idea about how you help to get roles on your executive. Is that possible? Graham, if you can help me. And Stephanie, I'm just hoping that you're there and able
Certainly.
to do this. Graham, are you able to spotlight Stephanie?
Yes, hi.
Wait, hold on a second. I'm still spotlit here, I think.
Can you hear me?
Can hear you. Yes, Stephanie. Go for it. Tell us what you did to help get new exec members.
Hello. Hello, hello. Yes, hi. I think my internet's unstable, so sorry if I
It is,
get a
but
bit
we can
robot.
hear you at the moment, so go for it, my friend.
So we're down in Tassie, we're the Devon.
Oh, Stephanie, you are lost. Hold on.
The spirit of
Do you
Devonport.
want to put, Stephanie, can I make a suggestion? Put your camera off, perhaps, and then tell us. Now try again.
Okay.
Perfect.
Is this any better?
Yes.
Any better? Okay. Yes. Sorry, everyone. So what we did was, instead of just talking about the roles, we actually paired up current exec board members with other members and got them to kind of pitch their role to that person and really sell why they should be that person. And then in pairs, they presented to everyone. So by the end of the night, everyone had got this kind of why you should have this role.
Lovely. And that's really nice. So working with someone, then into pairs, and then presenting it to everybody. Stephanie,
Yes.
Thank you for stepping up suddenly, impromptu speaking. So my friends, thank you so much. I wish you all the very best on your execs for now, for the next few months, working together as a team, for getting lovely people to be on your exec for the next year, and for camaraderie and good feelings and enjoyment. And thank you again for being here and committing to being at Club Officer Training.